Hey everyone, welcome back to House on the Pitch. I'm your host, Tom House. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a great episode today. We're talking MLS SuperDraft, what went down, which players to watch, and how teams are shaping up. Then we'll dive into the MLS Academy system and how it's building the future of American soccer. After that, it's time to head across the pond and get into the latest transfer window madness. For our Off the Pitch segment, we're going to chat about fitness trends, what took over 2024, and what to look out for in 2025. And of course, we'll wrap it up with your mailbag questions about soccer traditions and hype around rivalries. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. Grab your boots and let's take the field.
That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class.
All right, let's kick things off with the MLS SuperDraft, which just wrapped up a few days ago. If you missed it, San Diego FC, our shiny new expansion team, had the first overall pick. They went with Manu Dua, a forward from Virginia. This guy is pure electricity on the field. He's got pace, he's got creativity, and an eye for the goal. Honestly, he's the kind of player you want if you're building a team from the ground up. I mean, you've got to give it to San Diego. They're starting their attack with some serious flair. Now let's talk about the second pick, Max Loriani, who's heading to San Jose. He's a defender out of St. Louis University, and this guy is a beast on the back line. Strong in the air, good on the ball, and from what I've seen, he's got that leadership quality you love to see in a young defender. San Jose has been struggling a bit defensively, so adding someone with Max's skill set and poise could be a game changer for them. And here's what really stood out to me this year overall, the diversity in the draft pool. Players are coming from all kinds of backgrounds now. We've got big-name college programs, sure, as we always do, but also there's a lot of talent emerging from smaller schools and international pathways. For example, one of the picks was from Monmouth University. If you've never heard of it, it's from New Jersey, a smaller school that doesn't always get a lot of attention. And then you got guys coming from countries like Ghana and Argentina. The global reach of MLS scouting has just been incredible lately. It's also worth mentioning the impact of the MLS Academy system. It's really changing the game and providing opportunities for kids who might not have had access to the traditional college route. Oh, and you can't forget about the hidden gems. Every year, someone is taken in the later rounds and ends up being a breakout star. Like, remember Daryl Dike? He was picked 8th round in 2020, and now he's one of the most exciting strikers to come through MLS. So yeah, keep an eye out for those 3rd and 4th rounders. There's always a surprise waiting. So what do you guys think? Did your team hit the jackpot this year? Or are you already counting down the days to the next draft? Shoot me an email at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on how you think the MLS draft went this year and how you think your team is shaping up for the 2025 season. All right, so next up, let's dive into the MLS Academy system, probably one of the coolest and most underrated parts of the league. I mean, it's not just about what happens on match day, right? It's about what's happening behind the scenes to create the next generation of stars. And let me tell you, the way the system is set up is pretty fascinating. So MLS Academies are these youth programs that develop local talent. They're all a part of something called MLS Next, which is basically this massive pipeline of players stretching all across the US and Canada. And when I say massive, I'm not kidding. We're talking over 600 teams spread across 138 clubs in 36 states and 3 Canadian provinces. That's like an entire soccer universe right there. It's designed to give players as young as U13 a shot at getting into professional setups early on, which for a lot of kids is a total game changer. The whole system works to give kids from all kinds of backgrounds a chance to develop, and it's set up to compete at a national level. What's cool about MLS Next is it doesn't just throw them into a one-size-fits-all program. They're scouting talent locally, developing it, and then moving the best players up into even bigger leagues. What's even crazier is how many success stories have come out of this setup. Guys like Ricardo Pepi, Tyler Adams, Alphonso Davies. These aren't just MLS stars. They're representing on the international stage now. Like Tyler Adams. He went from the New York Red Bulls Academy to captaining the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup. No big deal, right? I mean, these guys are coming up out of these academies and doing great things. Now, here's the thing. This isn't just benefiting the big name clubs like LAFC or New York FC or LA Galaxy. You've got smaller markets too, like Real Salt Lake and the Philadelphia Union, doing a great job, punching way above their weight in the Academy game. Philly, in particular, has been killing it. They've built a reputation for not only producing homegrown stars, but also selling them to top European clubs. This is a great strategy. I think it's going to pay off great for a lot of clubs long term. It's kind of becoming their brand at this point, and honestly, it's working for them. And let's talk about rankings for a second. Did you know that the Philadelphia Union Academy is ranked number 1 in the entire system? Right behind them are Real Salt Lake and FC Dallas, which are both known for pumping out solid talent. And this isn't just about winning trophies at the academy level. It's about setting players up for long-term success. Here's a fun stat. Check this out. More than 90% of MLS clubs have academy players who have gone on to sign pro contracts. That's huge. And it's not just players for MLS teams. Some of these kids end up in top European leagues, proving that the US and Canada can hang when it comes to developing elite soccer talent. So yeah, if you're watching MLS games this season, definitely keep an eye on those homegrown player tags next to the player's name. That means they came through the academy system, and who knows, you might be watching the next Alphonso Davies or Brendan Alonso before they blow up internationally. What do you guys think about the MLS academies? Do you have a favorite success story, maybe a local talent team or a local MLS team club that's producing some real talent? Let me know. Email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, let's head into our next segment now, where we take things across the pond and look at international soccer. All right, today on Across the Pond, we're going to dive into the January transfer window. It's open, it's buzzing, and honestly, it's shaping up to be one of the most dramatic windows we've seen in a while. Just a reminder, this year's deadline is February 3rd, 2025, so there's plenty of time for the last-minute chaos. And if you know anything about European football, you know deadline day is always wild. First up, let's talk about Manchester United. The big headline, lots of big headlines with Manchester United lately, suffering a few losses that they shouldn't have, but the big headline here is Marcus Rashford. There's chatter about him potentially making a move. He's the all-star on the team, and if he makes a move, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal for the team. It's a really big deal for Rashford. Rashford leaving Old Trafford would be massive. The rumors say clubs like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are keeping tabs, but Rashford's still got the strong connection to United. If they lose him, though, the attack is going to need some serious reinforcements. Oh, and speaking of United, there's also talk about Amad Diallo. He's had a few ups and downs, but apparently Ruben Amorim wants to integrate him back into the squad rather than letting him go permanently. Could be interesting. See if that works out. Now let's slide over to Real Madrid. Let's head over to Spain, see what's going on over there. There's reportedly laser focus on Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool. The story goes that Madrid thinks they can grab him on a free transfer at the end of the season, but they might even try to accelerate the move in January. Can you imagine Trent in that Madrid backline? It's a huge loss for Liverpool, especially considering how much of their attack flows through his creativity. Meanwhile, Arsenal's name keeps coming up with a connection in Matheus Cunha. The versatile forward could bring some much-needed depth to the front line. Arsenal's been flying this season, doing a great job in the PL, but adding a player like Cunha could give them more flexibility, especially with Champions League games piling up in the second half of the season. And then, of course, there's Chelsea. There's always Chelsea hanging out there. You know the drill. They've been linked to half of Europe as usual. It's almost like their transfer strategy is just to buy everyone and figure it out later. If you've pulled off some smart moves in the past, you never know. One confirmed deal that's already turning heads is Sporting Lisbon Pedro Goncalves to Bayern Munich. Bayern doesn't mess around, and Goncalves is a gem of a player who's going to make them stronger. So yeah, there's a lot happening in the window already, and we're only scratching the surface. Who knows what deadline day is going to look like, right? I mean, we all love to see those last-second announcements where the paperwork barely makes it in and before the cutoff. What about you guys? Any big transfers that you're hoping to see, or maybe a player you want your team to sell off? Email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you and your take, and don't hold back if you're frustrated with the team's spending or lack of it. Now, join us in our next segment, Off the Pitch, where we take things away from football for a minute and talk about things on the lighter side. All right, let's step off the pitch for a minute and dive into fitness, because whether you're a pro athlete or just trying to stay active, 2024 was a game changer. First up, wearable technology absolutely dominated this year. From smartwatches tracking your every move to fitness rings and even AI-powered headbands. It's wild how far we've come. These gadgets just don't tell you your steps, they give you insight into your sleep, recovery, and overall health. And the pros? They are all over this stuff. Players like Lionel Messi use wearable sensors during games to track performance metrics like heart rate and running distance. It's not just about playing better today, it's about playing longer and healthier careers. And then there's hybrid fitness, combining in-person classes with digital workouts. It's super convenient, especially if you're juggling work, family, and everything else. And the best part, you don't need to be in a fancy gym to get results. Apps and platforms are making elite-level training accessible to everyone. Recovery also took center stage in 2024. We're talking about tools like massage guns, cryotherapy chambers, and even recovery-focused workout programs. Fun fact, Cristiano Ronaldo was one of the first soccer players to make cryotherapy cool, and now it's basically a standard in elite sports. Not to be outdone, Messi has been known to focus on pliability and mobility, key areas that have kept his performing at the top level into his late 30s. Celebrities have gotten into the action too. Chris Hemsworth launched his own fitness platform focusing on functional training, while Chuck Norris, yes, that Chuck Norris, partnered with brands promoting strength training for longevity. These trends show that fitness isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good and living longer. Looking ahead to 2025, AI is set to take fitness to the next level. Imagine having AI, a personal trainer, that adapts to your workouts in real time based on your performance. That's not science fiction. It's already in the development. Recovery tech is also getting smarter, with gadgets that can monitor your body's needs and adjust to your recovery plan. On the soccer side, expect to see more innovations like custom training programs built on AI and even advanced nutrition strategies tailored to individual players. Messi's carefully planned diet and workout routine, for example, are designed to maximize endurance and agility, while Cristiano Ronaldo's strength-focused regimen gives him that extra edge in power and speed. And let's not forget the trends that everyone can try. Functional fitness, workouts that mimic everyday movement, is gaining popularity because, let's face it, carrying groceries should count as a workout. Holistic fitness trends is also huge. They've been around for a while, but people are finally connecting the dots between physical health and mental well-being. Fitness is evolving, and it's not just about keeping up with the trends. It's about finding what works for you. Personally, I'm still working on making peace with burpees. What about you guys? Got any fitness wins or fails from this past year? Or maybe you're trying something new for 2025. Shoot us an email at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your stories about fitness trends from 24 and 25. Let's head into our last segment, the mailbag questions. All right, let's head into the mailbag questions. Keep them coming, you guys. Always come up with the most interesting stuff. Let's dive in. First question. What are some of the weirdest traditions worldwide in soccer? Where do I even start with that one? Well, soccer, as everyone knows, is full of quirks and traditions that make the sport so unique. Let's look into one of my favorites is actually the Viking thunderclap. This one's legendary. It's a chant that Iceland's national team fans made famous during Euro 2016. And if you haven't seen it, picture this, a massive crowd, thousands strong, clapping and chanting in perfect unison, building to a thunderous crescendo. It's pure spine-tingly energy, and I love it. But here's the kicker. There's actually a theory that the thunderclap didn't originate in Iceland. Some believe that it actually was inspired by Motherwell fans in Scotland. No matter where it came from, though, the Icelandics, they owned it and turned it into a global phenomenon. And there's West Ham's Forever Blowing Bubbles. This is another tradition that I think is always really cool to see on game day. Yes, Bubbles. If you're not familiar with it, this is the club's anthem. And it's been around for over a century. Over 100 years, this song's been around. During matches, fans sing it passionately while actual bubbles float around the stadium. It's such a bizarre yet kind of fun tradition. Fun fact, the song was originally from a Broadway musical and somehow it made it into West Ham's culture. They even set a Guinness World Record for the most people blowing bubbles simultaneously. This is where bubble baths and the world of football kind of intersect. Anyway, those are a couple of the coolest traditions that I know of. Second question, why is there so much hype around El Clasico and other rivalries? Rivalries are always great. They're kind of one of the cornerstones of what makes all sports kind of great. Case in point, the most recent OSU U of M game that took place with a bit of a brawl afterwards, which was kind of fun to watch. But I love rivalries and they make sports even better. But Real Madrid versus Barcelona, the El Clasico, are lifeblood of soccer. It's not just a game, it's history, it's politics, and pure passion rolled into 90 minutes. El Clasico, for example, represents, it's more than just two of the biggest clubs in the world facing off. It's Madrid versus Catalonia, two regions with very different identities, political histories, and all that. And add in the fact that these teams usually feature some of the best players on the planet. I mean, think about it. It's been Messi, Ronaldo, Vinicius Jr., and Lewandowski. And you've got a recipe for a much drama. And it's not just Spain. It's rivalries like Boca Juniors versus the River Plate in Argentina or Northwest Derby between Liverpool and Manchester United in England. They have their unique layers of culture and animosity. These matches just aren't about bragging rights. They're about pride, loyalty, all those things that the fans love, and sometimes generations of family traditions. So yeah, I mean, the rivalries are big. They're a big deal. They're what elevates soccer from a sport to a full-blown spectacle. And if you got any traditions or soccer feuds and rivalries that you love, share it with us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. Who knows? Maybe your question will be in the next episode. But that's it for today's mailbag questions. All right, that's a wrap for this episode of House on the Pitch. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget, if you have any thoughts, questions, or want to say hi, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. Until next time, grab your boots and let's take the field.